Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for November 8th. Thank you so much for being here. We are deep into November now. Holiday season is approaching. We got some holidays today that have nothing to do with that holiday season, but we've got Cook Something Bold Day, Dunce Day, guilty as charged, the Pumpkin Destruction Day. Birthdays today, we've got a couple wrestling birthdays. We've got Keith Lee is 41. Today. Happy birthday, Keith Lee. Maybe we will see you again someday. Okada is 38. And shout out to my mom. Mama Cash is 91 today. Happy birthday, Mom. 91. Yeek. Hey, interested in roller derby? Want to be a skater? Officiate Rock City Roller Derby needs you. Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com and join the Rock City Roller Derby. If you're into the men's team, Flower City Fear, FLOUR, Flower City Fear, always recruiting, looking for skaters, officiants, anybody who wants to help out. We always could use a hand. Thank you so much. And let's jump into the topics we're going to talk about today. The main event last Saturday, definitely cannot skip over that. That's for sure. A couple things happened. Some ratings news, maybe good, maybe bad. You decide. AEW's got a new title as well as Blood and Guts coming up this week. And we're starting a tournament this week to see who wrestles John Cena for his very last time. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I'll start off with I'm your humble host, the Cash Man. I am joined by DC and NC, DC Dan Cole. Dan, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Cash.
Good morning. We are beautiful sunny day here, even though it's super cold. So I just want to throw out the weather. If you got your bingo card out, check off. We've already gotten the weather. How's it doing there? I'm guessing it's probably in the 50s, maybe.
67 and sunny.
Now you know why DC is there and not here, except
Correct.
that it's humid and hot in the summertime too. So hey, we're gonna
That's what air conditioning's for.
bingo, and we have it up here too. So we're gonna talk some wrestling, talk some stuff. So everything's going good down there, DC. I mean, briefly say that we had an election this past week that kind of opened some eyes from people who were kind of in power, and I think that's a good thing. So we'll see how it pans out.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Let's hope that energy is there next year.
That's true. That's more important a year from now, but it was there. So, hey, but I mean, the people in charge are seeing that too. So, hey, got some stuff going on today. Let's go jump right into it. Why not? Last Saturday, WWE's Saturday night's main event on Peacock, not on NBC. The only way you could watch it is if you subscribe to Peacock, and haven't seen any numbers from that, but I'm fearing they'll be low because nobody wants to pay for another app. They understood when Peacock was pay-per-views. Yeah, it was great at $5 a month. Not the same case anymore. Now that
If the numbers were good, WWE would have promoted them already.
you are correct. Yeah, if they would have, or so.
Because WWE loves a high number.
I will say streaming numbers don't come out as fast as say I mean, ones that are, I mean, ones that come out from other companies that are paid to do this instead of just paid to post the things and say how many hits they got. So, yeah, WWE, they're very cautious. They've had some interesting numbers recently, including attendance. You may have seen the infamous picture last week from SmackDown of half the arena being empty, which walked hand in hand with I'll go to this first. What the heck? Walked hand in hand with SmackDown falling under 1 million people on USA. Yes, it was Halloween night. Yes, World Series was up against it, but that is a drastic number when they were pulling between 2 and 3 on Fox, and now they pull under 1 million, and just makes other companies look better when they're keeping consistent with their numbers and WWE's dropping. I think it has a lot to do with story burnout. And a lot of people, want to point at Cody Rhodes being the champion and seeing the numbers go down. I've seen a chart of the past, I don't know, it was past 3 months of SmackDowns, and the numbers go down and down and down. And DC, thoughts on that? I mean, they do live and die by those numbers when they get them. So
Yeah, and admittedly, I've made no bones about it in the past. I really don't watch WWE anymore, so I keep an eye on it from afar. But yeah, numbers are down, attendance is down. I think overall interest in the company is on the downward side. Um, and it's something we've talked about. There's a creative lull going on. Um, and then the building up of certain people as opposed to others, and having people that were generically getting over and then letting them go and then seemingly giving someone else that gimmick. And I don't know. I think just WWE's a mess right now.
yeah, they won't be the first to admit it, but when those numbers came out, man, it was like just a gut punch to them because those are ones they can't hide. Those are the ones that we saw publicly stated. You
But they're
know,
still making money hand over fist. So I'm sure they're still happy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen them.
That's the great thing about those deals they signed. They got all the cash. What do they care?
That's true. That's true. I've seen them kind of poo-poo the numbers when they don't go their way and saying, we're still making money. So that's a big plus. But
It's
how much?
almost like when elections don't go someone's way and they say it's no big deal.
Yeah, big time. Oh yeah, no big deal. No big. I will say that we do have a WWE event coming to Rochester, and if you follow us on Facebook, you'll notice that I posted the map from the set ticket sales, and there are an awful lot of unbought floor seats that that are, and the problem is the minimum ticket price is $56. When the minimum ticket price was 20, yeah, you would get a lot of walk-ups. You're not going to get walk-ups when it's 56. You're not going to get a lot of people, but especially when the floor seats are the closer you get to the ring, the more you pay. And it's like, and there's no cheap seats when you get down to the floor. So I hate to see them have an empty, house show here in Rochester, but they're doing it to themselves with these ticket prices. And, I mean, yeah, yeah.
And
It's fun.
especially in today's world, in today's economy, in today's, climate, money's at a premium. You have to be wise with what you choose to spend your hard-earned money on.
Yeah.
And WWE, that's not the value, and it's not. You used to get a lot more, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a great value for what they're charging anymore.
Yeah. I think maybe a lot of people taken into consideration that one, they're doing two house shows the day of the one in Rochester. So you're gambling 50-50 if you want to see your favorite wrestler, which, and then you're paying $56 for really bad seats because that is the lowest price you're paying to get in. Now, don't be surprised as we get closer if all of a sudden there's a Groupon, a buy one get one free or type of deal, because they can sell those seats for much less price, but they have to bring that price down. So, and I feel bad because people who bought the ones earlier are going to be like, oh man.
To put it in perspective, though, Blood and Guts coming up this Wednesday at the Greensboro, well, formerly the Greensboro Coliseum. I'm not going to call it by its new name.
Yeah.
Cheapest seats were $29.
Yeah.
And they're not running the full arena, obviously, because that is a 20,000 seat place. They're running the floor in the 100s, but still, you're in the 100s at a big time event for $29.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to, I think in the next like 3 or 4 months, there's going to be a real eye open for WWE tickets. Obviously they're not pushing the Royal Rumble because one, you got to take a jet to go to the Middle East. Second of all, you got to wear body armor when you go there because they don't like you. And, but I'm just saying, I wonder their rationale and how they're going to sell these things on their commercials that they completely stick down our throats every time we watch. I've not seen one for the Royal Rumble yet. So maybe one they had when they first announced it, and that's when all the boos started. Just wait till WrestleMania is there, folks.
You're getting that kind of energy for WrestleMania that's in 2 years. So imagine what you're going to get for a Royal Rumble that's happening in a couple of months.
Yeah, there's not a lot of happy people about it, but they're WWE wants to be a global company. Rob Sanderson was saying last week he always envisioned them as a global company, and that's how. But global company has so far only been the Middle East, Spain, England, Japan, and the United States and Mexico. So and Canada too, but we're all one big happy family here in North America, right? So, but so, I mean, it's truly not global yet until they're like in the Philippines and Australia. They did do Australia, so I gotta give them credit on that too. China, North Korea, South Korea, all those places, that they should be.
You're doing Saudi Arabia, so might as well throw in North Korea, Russia,
Yeah.
Argentina.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine them ever being based not in the United States? I mean, that you totally, tick off that entire fan base. And that's what I'm worried they're doing right now. High prices, high prices, shows being on foreign territory that there's no way anybody can get to. I think that, and then obviously they having all these special events on apps in which people have to pay apps for. So they're just getting money. I think one thing I've always known about doing what wrestling fans since I've been doing this show is, that it's the wrestling fans aren't always the richest on the planet. In fact, it's like it's a thing you can bond with, like when but with your kids and everything. But it's like I don't think that they're the richest people in the world, and they're going to find that out. And when they keep having these like last Sunday or last Friday night SmackDown, if you saw the picture, Cody Rhodes cutting a promo to half the arena because the other half arena was empty, much like it happens all the time in AEW, and we get to see those pictures. Why not see them when they're in WWE? Because it happens. I think they were in a small place last night too. So we will. And I haven't seen pictures yet of that, but yeah, it's they're going through something, and it's like, and they're also pushing heavily for the Monday Night Raw in January from Buffalo too. That one is even higher prices, so it's like it's just not a good it's not a good time if you're asking for more money from people who can barely afford it as it is, especially for a family. Family of four, that's over $200 tickets for bad seats, so. They will wisen up, and that's one disadvantage to Vince McMahon being removed.
Or they won't.
Yeah, or they won't, or they'll go bankrupt, or they'll be sold to somebody else because they aren't profitable. I think the UFC is, it's funny. Remember Nick Khan had said that the guy who runs TKO said, "Oh, we should have been charging more all along from the beginning." He goes, "This bump right here is nothing compared to what it's going to be," and it's like, well. Then you're going to get a real eye opener on who your audience is for wrestling. So, unfortunately, but I don't want to see a downfall of business, but we will admit that WWE is kind of in a lull creatively, and that's paying off in empty seats. So, but does this change at all? This past Saturday night's main event had two title changes. Well, we had one title coronation. That would be CM Punk is now the WWE world champion? WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and we've got Jade Cargill beating Tiffany Stratton and now being the women's champion. Now we talked and we kind of theorized on it a little bit last week. Too soon for Tiffany or for Jade Cargill, or is it and also to write off Tiffany? And maybe she's really hurt because she was not on SmackDown last night. And Jade, I don't think Jade has become any better a wrestler, but
I think that was the realization. It's like it's not a question of is it too soon. It's a question of is this just as good as it's going to get? So let's give it a shot.
And Jade came out last night and cut a promo saying, anybody who wants to take this from me, beware or whatever. And that was the promo pretty much, and then left the ring. So, I mean, not in those words, because she liked to use the bitch word and stuff, but so uh that I think, I know that they obviously with the Friday night of her getting, attacked by Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton was quote unquote injured, and they kind of played that injury up during the match, and it was a really kind of a short match. And then, but the thing is if Tiffany, I'm guessing Tiffany might be legitimately injured only because why would you push that girl to the moon? And then, and she already beat Jade Cargill once, but have her drop the belt at this moment, I'm a little bit, and I wasn't hoping for it, but I had a feeling in the back of my head that we were going to come out of Saturday night's main event with two new champs, and we did. So, but yeah, Jade, I mean, I haven't seen anything from Jade that's better than what Jade was doing in AEW at the very end. So, we'll see. I mean, Jade does have a new scar though on her head from going into the steps, a little bit too real, we'll say. That's really what happened. She really went head first into the steps. So, but congratulations, and I don't want to, I mean, you got to congratulate a new champion. I don't want to, be down on her. She's over. She was over with the crowd last night coming out. I thought Tiffany was over too, but we saw no hide nor hair of Tiffany. I'm sure she'll be back, but yeah, I think for me, it's too early. I mean, I don't know.
Been there almost 3 years, hasn't she?
It's been, yes. And I don't think, I mean, and
Or almost two, or
she's had injuries too that have kept her out for quite a long run too. A few, at least once when, when she got thrown into the front of the hood of the car and smashed the window, that nobody saw happen.
Naomi did it for The Rock. I mean, she
Yeah. I've seen Naomi pictures recently, very, very pregnant now, and was doing like workouts and stuff on those bouncy balls. And kudos to Naomi because I remember when my wife was pregnant, man, she didn't want to do anything physical. Are you kidding me? So kudos to her, being healthy and everything. But yeah, I just don't know. And now let's talk about Punk for a second. Punk was a great person to be in the chase with WWE. He was in the chase, in the chase, in the chase, and people were over with it. Now he's champ. And it's like, some people are saying that probably wasn't the smart answer, to put it on him because we'll see if he can keep the crowd going. But I know that he kind of shifted gears this past week, and now Logan Paul came out and got into Punk's face, but then Logan Paul and Punk kind of got beat up by what they call him, the Visionary, the Vision.
The Vision.
Yeah, by not the guy who's floating with a red cape in the Avengers movie, but Braun Breaker.
That's just Vision.
Yeah, that's Vision. Braun Breaker and that's what Thor called him, at least, the Vision. So Braun Breaker and Mr. Bronson Reed, of course, at the end of last night's our Monday night's Raw came out and jumped, and actually Logan Paul handed his knucks over to Paul Heyman, so Logan Paul might be joining that group. But what do you think about? I mean, obviously Punk's over. He's been over. People have wanted him to have this for a long time. But will success spoil CM Punk? I mean, will it spoil, the specialness of his chase?
I mean, it's the problem that every face champion has once they finally reach the mountaintop. Like, oh, the fun is the chase. So it's really not going to depend so much on him as what creative does with him moving forward.
Yeah.
But he could get very stale very quick. It happens with a lot of people. I think people are fine. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I think people are over Jey Uso.
No, they are. I mean, Jey Uso held the belt for one pay-per-view after WrestleMania and then dropped it. So, I mean,
I did have to laugh at SmackDown last night when they started talking about the Last Time Is Now tournament. And they talked about the first match being between two of the most decorated superstars in the history of WWE. The Miz, which
it's true.
is
Yeah.
true,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then Jey Uso. I'm like, God, you're really reaching.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're talking tag team wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
tag team wrestler,
Yeah. Yeah. But
but
help.
he's a gimmick now.
I had a feeling that they should have had him go heel and give him the belt, but that's just the way I was feeling last week going into Saturday night's main event. No one, everyone likes a heel champ better, and it's like, and he's had some, they've kind of played off of him not holding it long and kind of being a disappointment as a champion. They've kind of done that with the videos and everything. Obviously, Rikishi's not happy about that. You
Rikishi's
know,
never had.
he's not. He wasn't happy with the results. Obviously he doesn't think, Punk's going to have a long run. So, but
Was he
I,
happy with his son getting kicked in the head after over rotating on a neck breaker?
oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. The funny, interesting thing is, I think that the new position is going to be Paul Heyman and company versus Punk for a while until maybe Seth Rollins can come back. But I think that that's the way they're selling it on TV at least. And it's like, well, Braun Breaker, incredible athlete. Been there now, been on the main roster, I guess you could say, because he was on NXT before that, but no one considers that main roster. Has been there at least a year now, as well. And Bronson Reed, has been there for a couple of years. So he's gonna just feed those guys to CM Punk for a couple months. If that's the case, then I don't see ratings going through the roof. That's for sure, or buys or sells, or seat sells. But I mean, I don't have a. I mean, listen, Punk was over. He's been over for a very long time. He was over from the first note of his first time coming out, the first note of his entrance music. You know, it gets me to wonder, what could have been with AEW, and how something could go so wrong, and maybe we'll get a Dark Side of the Ring about that, how things could have gone so wrong so quickly with that organ that because I don't know, but nevertheless, I believe me, I still hold a lot of fault on him because he realized that the wrestlers were running the company, not the guy who owned it, and did it and went into business for himself, and that's why he's not there anymore. So but yeah, it's a rough time in WWE. I mean, we're coming into you did mention, and I was going to get that in the news, the tournament to face John Cena, which starts on Monday night in Boston. John Cena's very last time being in Boston in a WWE ring. Don't tell me he's never going to be there again, nor will he in 20 years from now. He's not going to show up at these shows where he can sign autographs and stuff. He's just not. He says he's not wrestling anymore. Okay. I have a feeling he still will have involvement somehow because, obviously he's a legend. He won't be wrestling. There's a lot of legends that don't ever wrestle again. He'll be one of those guys. It's not like you're never going to see him again, but he's actually
He's going to pull a Dwayne. I mean,
yeah, in
he's
5 years.
got plenty of work lined up in Hollywood, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You're
Peacemaker
going to
was
get
awesome.
I just started watching that, by the way.
Peacemaker, the newest season is absolutely awesome. It's just not for kids. Okay.
Well, if what I've seen so far of the first season, then yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, it's definitely not for kids. It has a more of a boys slant on it, like like a reality slant to it. So, but I'm glad you watch it because it's really quality writing. So I think, I like James Gunn a lot, and he really dove into the character and stuff. You got to watch Suicide Squad now, the one that led into that, where Peacemaker debuts.
I did see that.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
much better than the first one.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Except for there's a giant starfish in the end, and I don't know. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn goes into his eyeball. I'm sorry if I'm giving anything away, folks, but yeah. So yeah, John Cena. So let's talk about the tournament a little bit. They have a 16-man tournament to take on John Cena for his very last match. Will be, I think it's December 10th in Washington D.C. Monday Night Raw. Is this the time to start breaking out like classic people who had taken on John Cena so they can tell a story, like they relive? And I think that's what it's meant for, to be honest with you, is to and remember when John Cena had rivalry with this person in 2004 or whatever, it's like, so we might see maybe double B, Bull Buchanan again. I remember him and John Cena came out and rapped for a while. I think he was part of his group. We're talking a long time ago, but
Carlito.
yeah, Carlito on no longer under contract. But I mean, there's been a lot of rumors with guys who in AEW who have had, series with John Cena in WWE.
That's the problem.
And that's what they're trying to sell to. Is like, oh, is Edge coming back? Are we gonna have Edge John
Not
Cena?
a chance.
No, yeah. I believe Edge is under contract and he's making movies or TV show right now, the Percy Jackson TV show that's on Disney Plus, I think. So it's like, but they said that Edge won't be back because his contract will be up before he comes back. So there's a slight chance maybe of that, but there's no chance that you're going to see John Moxley showing up or Dean. What was his name again?
Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. Yeah, you're not going to see Dean Ambrose showing up, but they're selling it on the hope that these guys might be, because they obviously have a rivalry with John Cena. But people like Miz do too. Miz, there's a lot of guys in the company currently that, and a lot of people were thinking it was going to be The Rock versus Cena to finish his career. I guess we will see what do you guys in the chat room think, man? Who's John Cena's last match going to be? There's 16 matches.
You know who I think it should be, but it's not.
Who do you think should be?
Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry, yeah, get him over.
End one person's career and launch the other person's.
Joe Hendry shows up this past NXT and now has a partner who dresses exactly like him, but it's a female. So I think that was interesting. That's smart because he is being signed by WWE when his contract ends. So it's really going to be, I think you won't be able to tell watching NXT because he's been there already for quite a while. That
I must be talking loud enough because my wife heard me downstairs and I just got a text that said she believes.
She believes he might just show up then. Joe Hendry, yeah, that's a good one. I just don't know.
I mean, there's been the rumors that for a while that it's been Gunther,
and I'm beginning to believe the longer we're going without seeing him that it's not going to be him unless he's a surprise. Mystery opponent on one of these matches or something.
I still just think this is a great position to give somebody the rub. Yeah. And Gunther doesn't need it. Miz doesn't need it. Jey Uso certainly doesn't need it.
Doink the Clown. Yeah, I don't think so, Bart. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I'd rather see Doink than Jey Uso.
Yeah, you know who needs it right now is man. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of people just toiling and doing nothing right now with WWE. Like what's his name, A-Town or whatever the heck his name was.
In theory.
Yeah, but
we already saw that match and it was not good.
Yeah, no, it's kind of. But there's we will see. I mean, it could be a historic thing too, but I just don't know. I mean, who else has had John? I mean, that John, that are still active in the business that he's had big rivalries with. I think the Miz will be definitely somebody in that tournament. Obviously, well, we know who's going to be in Monday. We have like a list of what two of the wrestlers that are in this tournament starting Monday. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It is, I know that Damian Priest, I believe, is one of them. Let's see. We've got, here it is. So we've got Damian Priest versus Rusev and Sheamus versus Nakamura. So it's called the Last Time Is Now tournament, and it kicks off Monday. John Cena will be there as well.
And then LA Knight versus a mystery opponent.
That's a good question. Oh, look at that. I wonder if it could be someone John Cena's have never wrestled too. And maybe, I'm guessing there's got to be a few people who, but I guess
they've had the whole last year to do the nostalgia shtick.
Yeah. They did a lot of it.
Yeah. I think this is not the time to rely that heavily on that. This tournament. I
feel bad because I think that they've kind of misbooked it.
Botched it.
Yeah. This entire run. Especially that heel turn, which we always assumed was going to be a quick turn back, which was,
but not for the reasons we expect.
No. So, Yeah, it's when you have a year, I'll give you a year of my life. Let's make it good. And it's like listen, the best thing we've seen so far, I gotta think, is that AJ Styles match with Cena. That was and not to say that it was the best thing ever, because there's a lot of people who hate it because it was playing games with other people's signature moves. Whatever. I thought it was fantastic. It was a little tribute to everybody that ever wrestled, or people that.
You've never watched a John Cena match for the fact that it's going to be a 5-star classic. So
Yeah,
why not just steer into that entertaining portion of
yeah.
WWE
Remember
and go with it?
remember when he did the bouncing stunner off the ropes, and it was like the world had, he said, one more move to the 5 moves of doom or whatever, when they used to.
Or was that punch that he charged up too? Don't
that
forget that one. Ugh.
Yeah, the charged up pump. So you know what, I John Cena, kudos. I have become a fan after all the years of not liking you, and I'm not saying I'm not liking you. I just you guys know, if you follow this show, we've never been a giant fan of John Cena. Brian, remember Brian? He always used to come in wearing the John Cena gear and stuff.
It wasn't anything against John Cena. It was the fact that
Yeah,
we didn't like being told what we should like.
yeah,
And not only that, in a company full of great wrestlers, he's not even in the top 10 as far as people in ring skills.
yeah,
He was great on the mic. He connected with the crowd, but every single one of his matches was a rinse, lather, repeat.
yeah. Very Hulk Hogan-ish,
Yeah.
It's no sell, leg drop, 1, 2, 3, and a lot of people get mad because I point that out, but man, that's why I got bored of WWF when Hulk Hogan was champ. It's the same thing every time,
And they did the same thing with Roman Reigns before they kind of just let him, do his own thing,
when
which worked ridiculously well.
Yeah, they learned a lesson, man. You think this guy's going to be the future of the company? Don't book him that way until maybe you get some traction from the crowd, because they got no traction with Roman Reigns. And thank God this bloodline thing happened for him, because his career would have been, just a big question mark if he didn't ever get over, on his own. And that's how really I felt he did it. They always say that there's a little reality to your characters, and I can imagine that. I'm a fan of Roman Reigns. I am now. I don't think I always was, especially when he brought The Rock into the ring after the Royal Rumble, and The Rock got booed and looked like, what's going on, So it's one of those things where if you do fall down a rabbit hole on YouTube, you always like 12 times WWE booked someone and the crowd didn't take it. And you can find half of those are Roman Reigns matches. So
Well, that Rumble too, it didn't help that they had Daniel Bryan come out and be in the match for like 3 minutes.
yeah, he's 12th eliminated.
And then it was done after that. And poor Rey Mysterio when he came out at 30. Oh man.
I'll never forget that. It's crazy. So yeah, we got this tournament starting Monday, which is pretty cool, with WWE for John Cena at least. And I'm a fan, so I'll follow John Cena to the end. But I think that's really a very, very cool thing. So let me jump to something else. We've got 2 things more I really want to talk to you about before I get to the news. And one is Tony Khan this past week announced a new championship in AEW called the National Champion, which is kind of like a very amateur kind of name for a title, which some people have taken offense to, because apparently there's a natural champion in MLW or NWA or something like that. And they were like,
NWA.
Yeah, they're like, wait a second. So they didn't. I think they said the winner of Blood and Guts is going to get it. The person who survives Blood and Guts.
No, so they're doing a casino gauntlet at Full Gear.
Full Gear. Okay, that's what it is. I knew it was
the winner of that.
So there we go. We're gonna have a national championship. What it means, I don't know. It's another belt.
It's almost like they wish they didn't lump together the international championship with another title.
Yeah. Was it the Intercontinental? No. Was it the
Continental Champion?
Not to call it the Intercontinental.
They used up all the good names for being outside of the
Yeah. So
of the US.
after they merged those titles, they're down a title. So we had to get one back apparently.
Bring back the All Atlantic.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it was a name change, but you could. So that's interesting. Do we need another title in AEW?
No, really don't.
Yeah,
My question is are they doing something like this because of the rumors that there might be a sale soon, and maybe they're not going to be on TBS and TNT.
ah,
Maybe they're planning for the fact that, hey, if we're not going to be on
we got to
TNT,
strike
we
those
can't
names.
have a TNT champion.
That makes sense. And there is rumors, Warner Brothers Discovery is for sale. There's been heavy rumors. Netflix is very interested. Netflix, which is now running Monday Night Raw. Netflix becoming a super station of stream, I guess. I mean, there's some great things on Netflix already, but that's just a rumor right now. We don't know. It could be someone else, but if they do end up going with another company, then we'll lose TBS and TNT.
If they're doing this as a preventative measure, smart. If Tony Khan just wanted to introduce another title, not smart.
Yeah, we have enough.
Especially when you just announced the women's tag team titles. Like, can we do like one at a time?
Something I just took a little note popped out at me as we get into this. What did you think? Did you see the photo backstage from Saturday night's main event of all the former AEW wrestlers holding belts? Ricky Starks, well, whatever his name is, Saints. Jade Cargill,
Ethan Page, CM
Punk, all holding titles, and it was kind of like F you to. That's how I felt it was, at least, because why would they gather them together, especially since Ricky Starks wasn't even on that show, or neither Ethan Page as well weren't even on that show, but they were backstage so they could get a picture of everybody who used to work for AEW with a title in their hand.
Don't get me wrong. I know it's not going to lead to the same thing, but it honestly reminds me of back the Monday Night Wars, WCW and WWF at the time. And WCW brought in all the WWE guys, put titles on them. Whereas, WWE took the underutilized WCW talent, made new stars, put titles on them. So, I mean, look at who the champions are in WWE right now and how many of them have ties to AEW, but then look at all of the current AEW champions and how many of them have ties to WWE. That number is drastically less.
Yes, it is.
The only one I can think of is Mercedes off the top of my head.
Yeah, you're right. That I think a lot of the women's wrestlers that wrestle in AEW did have ties to NXT, or at least to the women's. Remember the women's tournament they had, the Mae Young tournament?
Mae Young, yeah.
I know that most of the women in AEW were in that tournament, but that's about it. There was no long runs by anybody there. So yeah, I agree 100%. And it's good. Keep the belts on the people who who made them. I mean, Cowboys always been Cowboy and always has been with AEW or Ring of Honor before that. So
yeah, the big champions right now have nothing to do with WWE.
Yeah,
you got Hangman, you got Kyle Fletcher, you got Chris Statlander, Okada,
and they would.
Okada was made in another promotion, but still nothing to do with WWE ever.
By the way, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Okada. It's I like that, and we'll see how long that goes, how long those people in WWE hold those titles. It just shows you that creating new talent's tough. And it is not easy to get people over. And when you get like a Ricky Starks who shows up and is over just because people knew he had a falling out with AEW and they kept him on the bench for such a long time that the internet IWF internet wrestling fans were very, very behind him. They're behind anybody who gets dissed by another company. They'll always, pick the the underdog and rooting for them. And so, that as well as Ethan Page. Ethan Page had, obviously was in the AEW before, as well as Ring of Honor and TNA, and been around. So yeah, it's interesting. It's I think that I just felt that I look at that and it's like, what are they like sticking in his face? In the world of pro wrestling, and I'll be honest with you, belts, do they really mean that much? Because it's the office that says okay for them to get the belt. It's not like it has anything to do with actually the performance in the ring. So, I mean, it's, always, it's just what it's saying is our office believes in these guys more than your office did or something like that. I just get a feeling that that's what they're poking at. And it's like, has nothing to do with, fandom or anything. So, but I did find that, that was pretty, that immediately was like that night they had that picture up, so yeah. So we got a new title. I mean, we were back talking about the new title in AEW. We've got Blood and Guts this week. In fact, the match tonight on Collision will determine who has the advantage in Blood and Guts. So we don't know that yet. And in fact, Collision tonight is live, so it's there. We don't even have a recorded version of it, so people can be spoiled by it, which is good. I think. DC, you going to Blood and Guts?
Absolutely, I'm going to Blood and Guts.
I'm excited. Take lots of pictures. I want to see. So that's super exciting because it's a big deal. But what do you think about the lineups for Blood and Guts? So I'm going to go through and tell you the two teams, and then we will, wax poetic a little bit on it. But we have two teams. And it'll be the first women's one ever. It's kind of scary to me, but we got in the women's one, we got Mercedes Moné, Megan Bayne, Marina Shafir, Thekla, and Julia Hart, Sky Blue versus Chris Statlander, Tony Storm, Willow Nightingale, Queen Aminata, who I thought was hurt, but it looks like
she is hurt. She was replaced by Mina Shirakawa.
Okay, there. I was going to say Jamie Hayter, Harley Cameron, and Mira Shirakawa in the Blood and Guts women's match. Men's match, it's pretty easy to figure that one out. Darby Allin, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly versus the Death Riders, Moxley, Pac, Yuta, Garcia, Claudio, and the Blood and Guts, which Blood and Guts is basically
War Games.
Yeah, War Games. The same thing as War Games. So and AEW, they're going to be in Boston, I think. Is it this week? Is that where they're doing it? Greensboro. Duh, we just talked about that. First Horizon.
Yeah, I'm not going to Boston for that, Cash.
Oh no, definitely not. I know they're in Boston sometime coming up soon too. Oh, the pay-per-view's in Boston in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, in fact, they will have their paper. But so, what do you think about? I mean, women's Blood and Guts. First of all,
I'm really excited for that. I'm more excited for the women's match more so than the men's match, just because I have Death Rider fatigue. But we've seen it kind of time and time again in AEW where the women are put in positions to do things for the first time and they do not disappoint. So I think they're all going to be taking a lot of pride in what they do in this match. So I'm expecting it to be a great match.
We got a good build up on Wednesday's Dynamite when Marina Shafir choked out Tony Storm in the middle of commentating on a match, and that kind of led to everybody coming out and beating each other up by the end of it. So I'm excited. Obviously, Tony Storm will do something that'll blow your mind, because Tony always does that. And you get a match with all these great women wrestlers, and you can see how we were talking last week or the week before about how they have this women's tournament, tag team tournament going on right now. And the people who have been losing from it are the ones who are in this match pretty much. So that's definitely a good thing. You get to see every prominent women wrestler in the company in this match. So it's a hello, Kitty.
Real quick, I have to go back too. You mentioned Tony Storm getting choked out while on commentary.
Yeah.
I could listen to her on commentary every week. Her inviting Excalibur to come do color commentary for one of her orgies. Her mentioning that Blood and Guts is what her sheets look like after a good weekend. And I'm like, Jesus.
Telling Tony to shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up, Tony.
She was a little fiery with Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. She was good. And then she got, so that led to a big brawl at the end of the women's match. So that's going to be exciting. The men's, you're right. I have a little bit of Death Rider fatigue. And but I do like Daniel Garcia being a new part of it, man. He does bring a new violence to this group. he had a great match on TV this past week, and it was like I think that maybe we'll get a break from one of them for a while after this. I don't know.
My hope is that the Death Riders lose and it's somehow Moxley's fault and they turn on him.
You could have a good split from this group. I definitely could see that, and then someone coming out super baby face out of it too.
Get Moxley out of there. Let him go on vacation for a little bit. The the only problem with that is I don't see any of the other Death Riders kind of good enough to step up to kind of lead the group.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'd
Pac.
be interested to see if
I will say
maybe
Pac.
we get some surprises on Wednesday.
Yeah, Pac has been getting a good interview segments. Obviously, he's been cutting some great promos. I think, obvious, yeah, it's a good question because that it. There's some people that aren't included in this, including the Young Bucks, who have been swayed by a bunch of different groups, and they may be involved somehow outside of it. I don't know. We will find out, but you'll find out tonight on Collision who will get the advantage, who will get if it starts off 1-1, and then you get was it how much time goes by before another person comes in?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, and then you can't have a fall until everybody's in, right? So
Correct.
yeah. So right now we don't know who's going to get the third person in the match will be the advantage team, and then we'll figure out tonight.
It's always more entertaining when the heels have the advantage.
Yeah, and so we have a match. If you're watching tonight, we're going to get Roderick Strong versus Moxley, and whoever wins that will get the advantage. That either Strong's team or Moxley's team in Blood and Guts. So that will be interesting. I think that makes I like it when there's like something on the line and there's a live TV show before it. So and that's what we're getting tonight. So if you're going to watch tonight, AEW Collision at 8 o'clock, you're going to see Strong versus Moxley. Winner gets the advantage. We got Hayter versus Sky Blue in a Blood and Guts advantage battle as well. So either Jamie Hayter's team or Sky Blue, whoever wins that. And then we got Harley Cameron versus Thekla in the deciding match of a women's Blood and Guts advantage battle. So if necessary. So I don't know if that means if there's a tie in the other one that they have to have another match or nevertheless, we're getting a lot of, Rob usually complains about the guys having the same people take each other on before like the big events. And this is kind of what's going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Collision. So if Hayter beats Blue, then Cameron versus Thekla will be determined the women's Blood and Guts advantage. That's what it is. So, so there's a lot of things on the line. So actually, there's going to be a program with things on the line tonight. So you definitely want to check that out. It's getting Houston, Texas at the Bio Music Center tonight. You definitely want to check that out. TNT or HBO Max at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Every once in a while, I'll turn into the Max version to see what's different between that and what I get on cable TV. So, yeah, that's going on tonight. That's super exciting. And yeah, something, if you're home tonight and you want to watch that and, I mean, there's no baseball anymore. And I wish Rob was here. We talked a little bit about that, but I guess we're not going to talk about baseball or anything like that. But, because unfortunately the Blue Jays lost last weekend. But so I'm going to jump into the news.
Not a baseball guy, but by all accounts, I hear it was a World Series, like one of the best in a while.
There was one out in the ninth. Toronto was up by 1 run in the 7th game, and the guy hit a home run and tied the game up. So they went to the 10th inning, and I don't think anything happened. And then in the 11th, the Dodgers hit 10th inning, someone hit a home run. So and that ended. They had to get 3 outs. They had a guy on first, 1 out, and the guy hit into a double play. And Toronto had to see them celebrate on their field.
Can you ask, like, as a baseball fan though, can you ask for more than a World Series going to Game 7 extra innings?
No, definitely not. And that was exciting. And man, it was.
And then didn't they have like a 8-hour game that went 18 innings?
They went an 18-inning game earlier in the week. Yeah, and that was won by the Dodgers, and that was. Yeah, the Dodgers came into Toronto down 2 games. They were down they're down 1 game, 3-2. They had to win 2 games to win the World Series in Toronto, and that's what they did. So, but I felt terrible for the Toronto Blue Jays fans because they had a lead with 1 out in the 9th, and the fans were nuts. And then the guy hit a home run, and it was like, whoa, it took the gas out of everybody, and then a double play ended the game. They had a guy in
The
scoring.
ball getting stuck didn't
Yeah,
help either.
no, they had a guy on third base with one out, first and third with one out, and all they had to do was hit like a sacrifice, and they would have tied that game against the Dodgers. And the guy rolled it into a double play, and the game was over. And so, next year maybe. But then now the team's getting broken. But I was rooting for Toronto because there's a Rochesterian on the team, guy from Pittsford, and apparently he came and watched the Bills game the next day in Pittsford. A bunch of fans took pictures with him and stuff, but after, it's like, man, that's tough game to lose there. It was late too. It was like, it's probably I think the two games for baseball in the last two games of the World Series were the highest rated baseball games in like 25 years or something like that or longer. So they were killing everybody in the numbers. And it was like, but one was Saturday night, one was a Friday night. So, those are the worst times to watch sport or watch anything. And they pulled incredible numbers for both of them. So maybe that explains a little bit. There was a World Series game against that SmackDown that fell under 1 million. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't
I
know.
am kind of disappointed though, given the climate and the way the world is currently, the fun we could have had with the World Series champion being Canadian.
Oh, yeah, true. And they've been it before. I remember 92, 93. They did, but yeah, that, especially now. Yeah. I mean, we have a hard time getting over the border now as Americans. They don't like us anymore. So, uh, unfortunately, but, I'm going to jump into the news and we'll get out of here. Let me jump. There's not a lot that we didn't cover already. I do want to mention that last night on SmackDown, that was in the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. Probably not too far from maybe, or is it too far from where Blood and Guts is going to be this week?
And it's about a 3 to 4 hour difference.
Okay. So last night on SmackDown, the inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion Chelsea Green won their title back from Julia, which was interesting because it was a very short match. And then
They say a minute and a half. Who did she piss off?
yeah, I was like, is Julia hurt? That's the first thing I thought in my head because as soon as it was over, man, they were away from people celebrating or anything. It was like they showed Chelsea Green and Ethan Page celebrating, and that was it. And then, I mean, then he was in the crowd. So I don't know what was going on with that, but I was really surprised how quickly that happened. And, I mean, I love Chelsea Green. Don't get me wrong. Chelsea Green is a great thing for WWE. Apparently, every time Chelsea wins any sort of tag title, Matt Cardona is also part tag team champion, and they won an intersex triple A title, her and Ethan Page in Mexico last week. So that makes Ethan Page, Chelsea Green, and Matt Cardona the intersex champion. Is that what it is? I can't remember, something like that. So
Mixed tag team champion.
yeah, triple A mixed tag team champion. So now, but I love how Matt Cardona was always like, "Yep, that's part mine now too." So, kudos to Matt Cardona and all. But Chelsea Green had a big week, won 2 titles. Now holds multiple titles in WWE, including like I said, being the inaugural WWE Women's United States champ. Now taking it from the person who took it from her. So kudos to Chelsea Green, and hopefully Julia's okay. I think.
Yeah, she's either injured or she upset somebody. You don't lose a title match in a minute 30 without something being wrong.
Yeah, definitely not on T, not and during TV too. That's what makes me think she either really irked somebody or she's hurt. I mean, she's healthy enough to get in the ring and lay on her back. I don't know. So congrats, Chelsea. So I did mention CM Punk is the best in the world, and with the GTS, he won. He beat Jey Uso. Rikishi was not happy. He is now the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and we'll see where that goes. Hopefully they can keep the momentum going. I mentioned already what's going on Collision tonight. Brian Cage had a post this past week. He's been out due to an injury, but apparently he has to have another surgery on his right knee, so he'll be out even longer. I feel bad for Brian Cage because he is part of the Don Callis family and was not in that wonderful portrait a week
I
ago.
think he was still in the portrait.
Oh, was he? I'm trying to remember. It's like he was stuck in the
He
back.
was he was kind of pushed towards the back though.
Yeah, yeah. I think well, he was upset about it because he felt he should have been more prominent, but he also hasn't been
I mean,
around.
had he been around, sure.
I did not, did they have to make another portrait when Andrade wasn't no longer part of them or?
He's there in spirit somehow.
Yeah, I didn't see any outline or ghost or anything in the background. Uh, so I did mention the 16-man tournament that's going to start this Monday to take on John Cena in his final match. And I got the date wrong. It's December 13th, Washington D.C. Saturday night's main event, only on Peacock. So subscribe to Peacock for that. If you're going to watch Raw, you're going to get John Cena on Raw for his very last time in Boston. You're going to get the first two matches in this tournament. Damian Priest, Rusev, and Sheamus, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And we also get Stephanie Vaquer is going to be wrestling Raquel Rodriguez for the WWE Women's World Championship. And Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are going to be taking on the Kabuki Warriors. That's the duo of Asuka and Kairi Sane for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. I already talked about the ratings this week. Hopefully WWE have a bounce back coming up on for SmackDown last night. I guess we'll have to wait a couple days to see. It was announced the Saturday night main event ring announcer Lillian Garcia is engaged to be married, and she wouldn't say who it was with, except for the mystery person is a former pro wrestler. So Lillian Garcia is getting married to a former pro wrestler. You might even wonder what MJF's been up to lately. MJF, he's been keeping busy outside the squared circle. He is obviously, we saw him in a couple movies, Iron Claw, Happy Gilmore 2, but he's also in one that they're just wrapping up, I think, production on this week, Violent Night 2, which Violent Night 2, is it the Christmas themed horror?
It was it the one with David Harbour?
Yeah, David
Where he
Harbour.
played the Santa Claus-ish
Yeah, the evil Santa.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just wrapping up shooting this week coming up. We haven't seen MJF since All Out, and hopefully we'll see him soon, but who knows if he's got something else, but Hollywood has been calling him and MJF has been going. So that's a little update on him. Another interesting update, Jesse the Body Ventura is no longer under contract to WWE. He had signed a year contract when they announced the main events were taking place, and now he's no longer with the company. So it's interesting that he was not at this past week's Saturday night main event, which was the first one exclusively on Peacock. So it looks like his contract's up, and, I mean, he didn't really add much, to be honest with you, he brought an old school mentality and commentary to it, and the old school kind of irked people. So maybe it's a good thing, but I'm a fan, Jesse. Don't get me wrong. He's been on the show a couple of times. He's a wonderful guy. Every time he wrote a book, he would come on. So, he just didn't merge well with the current WWE product, or they would have signed him for another year.
Him crapping all over that cage match finish was fantastic.
Yeah, the big time. It's like, isn't that how you win this? You got to climb over the top. What's up?
Escaping through the door. Ooh, he had a problem with that.
I know it's, I mean, he was playing heel announcer. So,
I don't know.
Yeah,
that felt a little real to me.
Yeah, he just seemed confused. That's what the whole thing was, I think.
Down on the Baja.
So I got one last piece of news, and we're going to get out of here. According to multiple WWE sources, Ridge Holland, who had been cut from WWE but was still riding out the non-compete portion of his contract, it's been terminated ahead of schedule. So word within WWE is officials viewed several of his recent social media posts as a breach, quote unquote, and the decision was made to cut ties immediately rather than allow him to deal to expire naturally, which they weren't going to resign him. Sorry, he was not being resigned. They were just going to let the deal run out. So Holland's contract was originally slated to run through mid-November. He was expected to be paid through that date. However, one source indicated WWE is not planning to pay out the remainder of the term, citing the breach as justification. Situation, especially notably given Ridge Holland's injury status. He suffered a significant injury on September 27th that will reportedly keep him out of action well into 2026. His release comes with roughly 7 months left in his recovery, something that historically WWE rarely did until this past year or so, when the company began taking a harder stance on injured talent under certain conditions. Ridge Holland recently mentioned that he was not compensated for his one-off appearance at TNA's Bound for Glory weekend. Despite the early termination, WWE is still obligated to provide his ongoing medical rehabilitation, a legal requirement that would likely expose them to potential action if they failed to do so. He surfaced on social media on Tuesday to share another sad update regarding the situation, noting that he cannot pay his mortgage and feels like he's been hung out to dry after getting injured working a match for another promotion for WWE. So that's kind of a sticky wicket there. I mean, I've seen people fired from radio companies for criticizing the programming on a radio companies on one of the stations or whatever. So it's kind of like the same. It's kind of like in the same the ballpark. I don't know what Ridge Holland's criticisms were, but if he was injured while working for WWE, besides not being compensated for working that extra event and Bound for Glory back in October, that obviously they have to pay his medical. But I know that a lot of his friends in WWE have started a GoFundMe for him, and I know that a lot of his friends in WWE have already donated to it. So if you look, his real name is Menzie. I can't remember his full name. Let's see, Luke Menzies. So if you want to go look, I think Chelsea Green started it. She may have been one of the people involved in it or donated. So it's kind of a sucky situation, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't, it's, people are so oversensitive to criticism, being criticized. And even when you're doing it in character, if you do it in character, is that, they still take that as a criticism. But WWE is also so very, very shallow when it comes to, they can't take any sort of criticism pointed at them. They like, that's all we did on this show so far was criticize decisions they've made pretty much. They probably hate what we do, but we're not on their payroll either. But what do you think about that? Is that, is this guy in a bad situation?
I mean, it sounds like a terrible situation. I don't know enough about it. I do know one aspect of this that has bothered me are the people that are happy this is happening to him because of the Big E incident, which that's awful. And I would be willing to bet that Big E probably donated something to him. So
Yeah.
people relishing in this guy, being on hard times right now because of something that happened is
Well,
not great.
Yeah, I feel bad because he got hurt during that little takeover that they did at Bound for Glory. Something happened in the ring and he got thrown out, or something landed oddly outside the ring, and he which is a shame. But I don't know. I can't think of any, I'm sure Big E, knew that it was an accident. There was, but I don't know why anybody would be happy that something bad happened to someone who had an injury issue with. Because I remember, and I hate to say it, but I remember that Owen Hart hurt Steve Austin, and that some of those same kind of things had come out after, when he unfortunately died in the ring, because he pile drove Steve Austin and broke his neck in the process or whatever it was. So, and that just disgusted me when people were saying things like that. And I know that even Steve Austin never felt that way. So he definitely was not happy with the guy, but he would never want anything like that to happen. So yeah, it's a shame, it's like, this is a business, and it's like, unfortunately, this guy won't be able to even do anything until for 7 months if he wants to continue professional wrestling too. I mean, he's absolutely, his career has been taken away for at least that long. So hopefully people, like I said, you can search for it. Maybe I'll go look for it and put it up on our Facebook page, at least the link, if you guys would like to donate to help out Ridge Holland get through these rough times. Because he was expecting obviously to be paid until November, and that was, it still would have hit a wall at that point for him to earn money, but being injured does not help. So but that's all the news I got today. I can't think of anything else to plug. Go definitely. Oh, you know what? UPW has wrestling today in Rochester. It's their lockup, which means every match is in a cage match. They have a new cage this year, I heard. And I heard that if you're from Rochester and you listen to Rover's Morning Glory, their goofball Jeffrey is going to be refereeing in Rochester tonight during one of these. It's an outhouse match, I believe. I don't know how they're going to do that. They're very creative making these things up. So I can't imagine two people going to an outhouse and it shakes around for a while bit and then someone falls out and gets pinned. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Porta potty match or something like that. So, but that's going on tonight. I think they start at 6:05 right on Ted Turner time if you're going to go out and watch it. But this is in the Marketplace Mall. They have their facility there, so you definitely go check that out. It's they're every match is in a cage, so makes it a lot easier than setting them up and taking them down. That's for sure. Just keep them up the whole time. Hope they stay up. But DC, you got anything special coming up this week?
No, just looking forward to Blood and Guts.
There you
I'll
go.
I'll report live.
Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna wear like a different colored shirt so we can see you in the crowd and stuff.
No, I am
Not
not
that,
on
not that
I
close.
am not against the hard cams this time around.
Oh,
Uh, I will be on the floor though. I'm row three,
well, when you do me a favor,
trying to get close to the action.
send me a picture when of like a selfie of you going in, and then I'll post it up on here and and then I will tag AEW into it. So anybody who follows AEW, it'll show up as one of their, and then we'll see how many people come up and talk to you. Uh,
Do it.
yeah, okay, I'll do that. Well, you guys, everyone, and thank you for so much from the chat room for hanging out. Dan and Pat and Pat wanted me to let you know that he saw Roddy Piper's daughter wrestle. That's Teal, I believe, who's a wrestler. Who knows? I mean, Teal wants to wrestle. She could. I'm sure that NXT would probably find a space for her. So hopefully that works out. But she's been out doing on the independent circuit. I remember Roddy was. He talked about Teal many times when we've had him on, and he talked about, I think towards the maybe near the last time I saw an interview in which he talked that he was training her or getting her, she went to Harley Race's school or something. I know that she definitely trained. So thanks, Pat. Thanks, Chuck. Happy birthday to Ray from the Garage Door. Ray is celebrating a birthday today. He was a big important when we used to show the pay-per-views in the Garage Door. Sarah Salvatore's in the Garage Door. Uh, Shout out to everybody at Salvatore's. We'll see you next week, folks. Thank you so much for checking us out, and we'll be back same bat